The third Tuesday of every month, we're going to always probably go through some sort of motion activity. We're going to talk about how we either improve our posture, how we move our body, how we stretch, or start to really make our bodies more mobile. And what we found in our office is that, and someone was just talking to me about this. They're saying, how does a baby have defects? And I said, well, it's the same reason we get sick. There's three main reasons. Either there was some sort of structural trauma, which could happen. That's rare in a baby's defect, but it could happen. Baby's not lined well in mom and things can grow improperly. But the other two reasons that we become ill is because of excessive amount of toxins, excessive amount of stress on our bodies. So our thoughts, toxins, and traumas are what cause all of our diseases. So if we have improper position, improper movement, then our body has micro trauma from gravity all day long. So what we're going to talk about tonight is how do we reduce micro trauma on your body? How do we try to take those little bits of stress that gravity and your poor posture and your abnormalities, what do they cause to your body, and how do those start to add up to causing more of a problem for you? All right. So how we reduce those stressors, how do we start to move our bodies every day so that we have mobility and health in our whole spine? And the posture disc is what we're going to talk about. That posture disc is going to be the main thing we talk about, because we're going to help you to understand how to help move your whole spine in an attempt to keep hydrated discs, because your discs of your spine, they need hydration. If you don't hydrate your discs and you don't have good mobility, arthritis forms, especially if you've had an accident or an injury, or you just have bad posture over time. So we're going to help you to prevent those things. Now, if you already have those things, we're going to try to slow them down from getting worse, right? Or you might already have some of those things. We want to slow them down or stop them from getting worse. The big keys of changing your body and making an improvement on your health is going to be a couple of things. Number one, it's got to be frequent. We've got to do it every day, maybe even multiple times a day if we want to make changes to what's happened to us over life. I mean, if we sit for even 5 hours a day, but we only move our bodies for 30 minutes, well, we're probably in a deficit of movement still. God didn't build your body with all these joints to not move them. If we were just supposed to think all day long, we'd be like Pinky and the Brain. You remember that thing with just the brain? We would just have a head and we just think and talk and we wouldn't move. We were built to move. Movement is life. So if we don't move, that's what starts to cause us to decay. When you move the nutrition around your body. You help to lubricate the joints. You help the connection between your brain and your body. If you don't move all the joints in enough ways throughout the week and throughout the day, then your brain starts to say, you know what, I don't even really know what's down in that toe. It's never moved for 10 years. That big toe joint just kind of sits there. They compensate, they move around it. So it turns off that channel. But by turning off that channel, usually arthritis starts to form and then we start having other problems. So by moving our bodies, we can help our minds, not just mentally, but definitely with connection of healing. So with the posture disc, I love it because there's a couple reasons for that. Number one, we used to get what we'd call a wobble seat, which was like a seat on a pivot. Now someone had to make these things and not everyone was buying them up, trust me. So they were in kind of low demand but high cost. So we used to get them, we liked them in our office, but these seats, they even would sell whole office chairs that were on a pivot. And over the time and years, we found instead of spending $100 or $300 for this chair, you could buy a $50, $25 piece of blow up material. So this disc could just be blown up $25. So the cost is very economical. The other thing that we found was it's also you can move it around. I mean, if you really wanted to take the air out of it, you could probably pack it, take it on a trip and pump a little bit of air. And even if you had a little air, it still works. Even with almost no air, you still get motion in it. The other thing is it's versatile. You can use it for multiple things. You can use this disc not only to help to hydrate your discs and to get some flexibility and some core strength, you can use this disc for balance training. You can use this disc for traction, and I'm going to show you all the ways that we'll use that tonight, hopefully. But let's start with the whole point of sitting on it. So most people that sit for a living need to be on something that will help you get fit while you sit. You need to move. If you're going to be stuck sitting and you can't have a standing desk or you're not using a standing desk enough, even if you are sitting with a standing desk, you should probably do 50-50 or at least 2/3, 1/3, meaning that stand for 2/3, sit for 1/3. Our bodies do need rest, so I'm not saying you just need to stand all day long possibly, but most people find that if they're sitting in bad position. This disc helps that. Helps you keep good thought about your posture. The other thing this disc will do is will help with that hydration and movement. If nothing else, what I found this disc is really good for is if you do take it to work and you just throw it beside you because you're tired of it, at least one day you're gonna be like, oh, that darn disc, that's right. This is why my back hurts. Oh yeah, Dr. Nate, I hear him in the back of my head. I gotta move. I know I'm just into my work. I'm busy, doc. I got too much going on. So I just can't think about this posture stuff right now. This will remind you that to get back to the habits that are going to keep you healthy for the rest of your life. It's a reminder, right? If we don't have reminders, that's the second kind of step, is we need to do things frequently. The second is we need interruptions. We need things to stop us in our tracks and remind us to do the right thing. So we need accountability and repetition to remember that. If it's setting up reminders on your phone, if it's having pop-ups on your computer, sticky notes, or things that remind you to do the exercises, because life will try to take your attention to different things rather than what you need to do. So I love this for a reminder. That's also why I like the home rehab kit. So if anyone wants kind of a recording of tonight, there's really no need out. There's already a recording of how to use this. It's on the HR, it's in the home rehab kit. I just gave you guys the QR codes. So if you're online, you're listening, just ask us, we'll give you the access, because it's not on our website. It's kind of usually purchase only, all right? So let's get into the use of these. One of the best things to do is if you're starting off with this, just like anything, if someone's like, I wanna sit for 6 hours a day on this disc, or if someone said I wanna run 6 miles, but they've never run, I wouldn't tell you to go run 6 miles tomorrow, would I? I probably wouldn't tell you to sit on this for 6 hours tomorrow. You'll be pretty sore or uncomfortable. So you alternate. Maybe for 30 minutes you do it, and then you know what you could do with this for 30 minutes? Put it right behind you. You guys try that. Put it right behind you, scoot right back, and you'll see that it's kind of like it fits in the small of your back, and it kind of keeps you from doing what? Slouching, right? That can kind of keep you upright. So, because if I take it away now, and just feel yourself fall right back, right? So even if you're sitting on it, you can at least use this as a little reminder, but you're gonna just sit with that behind you. All right, then, so let's get on it. Usually when you're putting this on the chair, you want it right in about the middle of the chair. You'll want some space behind you. So you don't want this all the way back to the back. You want it kind of in the middle to the front of the chair, because we're gonna be rocking backwards. And my tailbone will probably end up right about the middle of it, if not the little bit of the back, a little bit to the back. So you're just gonna sit on a square. If you're not square, you'll know it, because you'll be tilted forward or too far back. So sit so that it's kind of giving you vibrancy. One of the first things and most important things to do with this is to make sure that you're maintaining really good posture when you start moving your hips, because this is going to be all movement of the hips. What I really want at first is you almost to be able to move your hips and not show it in your shoulders, just hips, okay? That's a good little exercise. So I want you to just take a couple circles of movement without moving your shoulders, all in the hips. So this movement, you can feel that. Now, when we get into doing the real flexibility and stretching, we are going to move the shoulders too, because if we want the most stretch, we're going to use our arms. You'll see this. Now, the first thing we're going to do is let's just put your hands kind of on your thighs, and I want everyone to sit real tall. I want you to mention there's a string at the top of your head, and that string is pulling you straight up to the ceiling. So your head is over your shoulder, which is over your hips, which is right on top of that blue disc, right? You're stacked very well. So I'm showing you this, right here, and we're just stacked really, really well. What we're gonna do with the first step is just fall those hips forward. We're gonna arch our back. It's almost like you can pull yourself with your knees forward, and that kind of arches your back. So you have an increased arch in your back, and then we're gonna flex back and almost round your back. Pull forward and arch the back, and then we fall back and arch the back. If you want full spine mobility, we're gonna use the head with this now, okay? So step one is just kind of getting the motion. Step two would be, I would take a breath in and really look up to the ceiling as high as you can, as far as back as you can, and let this tilt forward and arch. Hold it for a couple seconds, breathe out, and flex forward. Pull forward, arch, and back. That's the motion. Ever feel that? This is called flexion and extension. Breathing with movement intensifies the action that you're doing. So if you want your body in sync, we talk about brain and body connection. Moving is good, breathing and moving so much better, because you're working a lot of different faculties in your brain, which means you're stimulating different parts of your brain to take note what you're doing. So when we're doing this, we always want to kind of do a belly breath. You want to breathe into your belly and come forward, holding that breath for a second, then you breathe out. I'm sucking my belly button to my spine, and I'm flexing. So I'm in and out. I'm tightening my abs the whole time, just in different ways. And you can do them in this motion. It's kind of a back and forth. You're pumping, right? We're pumping your discs. So remember, we want to do forward, back. And if you want full neck stretching, that's why you use the neck. You're getting your cervical spine, your thoracic spine, and your lumbar spine. So why are we extending and flexing our spine? Because that pumping action, is pumping water into these discs, into those discs. These discs are mostly water, and if you don't move every single one of these little joints, those discs don't fill up with fluid, which means they dehydrate and degenerate, and you lose those heights, and that becomes arthritic. So right now we're moving in this plane. Next we're going to be moving in this plane. We're going to move that disc all the way around, all right? But first is flex and extend, and we moved everything. We extend and we flex, extend and flex, right? You're pumping, you're loosening these things up. So let's go to the side now. So the first thing usually to do, I like to put my arms this way. I want those to level with the ground or the floor, because I want to kind of feel that tilt. My shoulders and my back kind of all go together. Feel feel that? So what I'm doing is I'm pushing my left hip off to the left and letting my right shoulder kind of try to touch my hip, right? So I'm pushing off then to the right side, so my hip falls off to the right of the tablet, like here. Good. So you should just feel each hip kind of trying to fall off. As much as it looks like I'm doing a lot of work, this is only a third of the work. The main work is on the hips. You want those hips to be tilting too. And really, you know, these chairs a little high for you guys, some of these, with the disc on there, you might want like a little, I've sometimes put this like on my fireplace little ledge, and that was actually a good distance because I can be a little bit more in alignment. But you should be about 90 degrees here. If you're way too tall, like, you know, it's just not as effective, okay? So the hips. Now we're gonna do a lot of this side to side. We're gonna do it with our arms this way for 5 reps on each direction, and then we're gonna actually put our arms up, and you'll feel a little more stretchy. When you really kick it over, just think you want a big arch here. Hip over, you can feel that in your lats, in your lower back. Do you guys feel that when you put the arms up versus down? Yep, side to side. So we're doing 5 reps each side. You can breathe deep and breathe out. This is the next step, is just moving that side to side, okay? Now we're gonna add the neck into this a little bit, and the way we'll do side to side with the neck is we're gonna actually let our arms to the side, and it's like you're gonna try to touch the ground with the one arm, but you're kicking that hip. So if I'm gonna try to go down with my right arm, I'm kicking my hip off to the left. So I'm here. Now I want you to try to get your head real tall and try to touch your ear down to your shoulder, and just really come this way. Good, pretty good. Now come to the other side. Tilt down, try to touch that floor with the other side. Remember, your hips are always falling off. And there, let's feel those a little differently with that stretch. Keep your core really tight too. It would be easy for you to do this and kind of slouch through it. I could kind of slouch and do this, and it could feel like I'm doing things, but we want that back to have a curve. We want your back to have a curve. So don't lose that curve in your back. Don't lose that curve in your back. This is what, I'm gonna turn this way for a second. If I slouch and do this, I could kind of do that, but my back's rounded. We don't want that. We want my head over shoulder, shoulder over hips, nice roundedness, and this is where I'm going, side to side there. I'm keeping upright. I'm not flexing or rounding. I'm staying really straight, and I'm doing that side to side. Because these exercises are gonna help your core exercise. You're getting core work just doing this, core work, but you're also getting flexibility in that, okay? The next step then, if we did here, and we did here, we did down, then we're gonna put our hands behind our head, and we're gonna just try to take that shoulder down, just like so. Good. Breathe in, breathe out. You're just trying to touch your elbow to your hip, but you're keeping that curve in your back, and you're keeping really tight and strong in your core. Side to side, just like so. 5 reps of each of those, okay? We do 5 reps front and back, and we do arms overhead, we do arms flat, we do arms to the side, and then we do them behind the head. Those are all the side to sides. Then the last thing, we're just gonna rotate. This one, you're not kicking your hips as much. You're just trying to rotate down back as far as you can. But you remember keeping those arms straight, the spine straight up, good curve in the spine, and you twist, and you go to the other side. Twist as long as you can. Your knees should stay forward. You want your knees still pointing forward, and you want your hips, or you want your head and shoulders to twist. Twist, twist. Really gentle with twisting, but twisting can hurt people more than ever. When you twist, or any of these activities, if you're doing them and you have a sharp pain in there, that sharp pain is telling you to just no further. Can you work into it? Sure. You can, let's say you have a sharp pain here. Okay, well I'm gonna go back away from it. I'm gonna go back into it and just try to go a little further. Go away a little further. But I'm not trying to just push through the pain. Tightness or discomfort, that's one thing. Sharp pain just says, hey, that's not enough. That's too much there. Don't go any further. You can start to gain motion though by just going around that, okay? When we have problems in our lives, as humans, we're just looking for the easiest, the fastest, simplest solution to make us feel better or get out of those problems. But also, what's very common is that we don't look for preventative solutions until we have a big problem. Once the alarm bells are going off, we're willing to listen. We're willing to maybe do some things. So what prevents most people from doing this simple work? Because it is simple and it's affordable, but the hardest thing with prevention in natural medicine is it takes diligence and persistence even when that's not the highest priority. The alarm bells aren't going off, I'm probably not going to do the things I need to do. If I haven't eaten well for months and I'm feeling really crappy and alarm bells are going off, I'm probably going to start eating well. But do I eat well every time even feeling really good? Maybe not. We let lots of things slip in our lives and we ultimately wonder, why do I feel the way I do? This is something that has the potential to kind of keep you moving or to help you heal from some of these things. There are so many people out there that are letting their health slip in one way or another. Chiropractic care was built to try to help stop the slip. It was there from the beginning to say, hey, if we can just keep your brain and body communicating and functioning, a lot of disease disease is prevented because your body's communicating. But what chiropractic care and just evidence of taking care of our health naturally, we call it vitalistically, meaning healing from the inside out, is something that everyone should be at least exposed to. Every day, do something that challenges joints that you don't move often. This disc is just a way to remind you of that. Well, thank you guys for coming.